Hey everyone, it's Elizabeth Maria, and this is Intuitive Tuesdays with Elizabeth Maria. Yay, I'm so happy to be here. Guys, I've been having some kind of, for like the past couple weeks, I've been dealing with, a cold, so my voice is a little hoarse tonight. I do have, and I didn't make any tea, and I'm trying to find my drink. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. So, yay. So, this is Intuitive Tuesdays with Elizabeth Maria. That's me. And today we are going to be talking about the energy of abundance. Um, but I wanted to, first just tell you guys a little bit about me, what I have to offer, and what I'm doing here. So, um, again, my name is Elizabeth Maria, and my business is Elizabeth Maria Unlimited because there is always an infinite amount of possibilities. So I offer writing services, whole food health advocacy, or holistic health advocacy, and intuitive guidance. If you want to learn, more about these services, please check out my website. I don't want to spend too much time on it. So that's basically it. I've been doing these lives for a couple years now. I took a hiatus for a while. I just started back in January. I love coming to you guys every week, and it's usually right now just a couple of you guys tuning in, but it is so all good. It is so all good. I hope that the message gets to who it's supposed to. And so really these Intuitive Tuesdays started as a way for me to develop my own intuition. Um, about 3 years ago is when the accelerated part of my spiritual journey began. And that is when, things got a little weird, just to say the least. And, the energy started flowing in a much faster rate. I started getting the lessons on my journey a lot faster. Things started opening up. I started getting connected in ways that I had not before. And so, during this process, for me, one of the, and I say one of the biggest, but I mean, it's like, there's just so much. And it's like, the more that I know, the less I know. But during this journey, one of the biggest lessons for me has been learning how to step back into my body, to be fully present in this moment, and to get into the flow of life, the flow of connecting to Great Spirit, to God, Source, what have you. And I shouldn't say what have you because that's dismissive, and there's nothing dismissive about the one. Yeah, and so it's all been about getting back into the present moment. And that is where we tap into the energy of abundance. The term abundance, it's been, yeah, I know that it's kind of a popular catchphrase right now. Hmm. I really started becoming aware of, like, the idea of abundance when the first time that I watched The Secret. My gosh, it was, well, God, I'm like, how old am I? I just had like an age thing. I'm like, how many was it? More than 2 decades? It's been a while. Yeah. So, I know a lot of us were introduced to this idea of law of attraction. from The Secret so many years ago. But really how to implement that in, one's life. I mean, because it's one thing to say, oh, just focus on the positive, just focus on what it is you want, and then that will, just miraculously appear in your life, right? I know a lot of us are like, okay, I need to see this shit before I can believe it, but actually the opposite is true, right? And I forgot the name of the author. I want to say possibly Wayne Dyer, but you have to believe it before you can see it. Actually, everything in this life, this is again my experience, seems to be flipped. So like what I thought was, it was actually the opposite. And that keeps on happening over and over and over again in my life. Oh, hey, Jackie. Oh, yay. Thank you. Oh, yeah. I thought you said love that look. I was like, oh, well, I usually look like this, but thanks. Oh, yes. I love that book. Yeah, I think it is Wayne Dyer. But really, and so moving into shifting my idea about who I am in this reality, and how the material world is created. It's been a long journey. I now see like little snippets of um like when I was beginning to become aware, like really. And I mean, there's one thing to really understand the theory, and then there's another to actually know um the theory like in a visceral way in your body. And so it's all going to lead up to a story today about the energy of abundance. But yeah, and so I remember when I was lecturing at the University of North Georgia, I used to really challenge all of my students with really focusing on the origin of things, like considering that everything in this material reality has an origin. And I remember I would, and I mean, all of my students used to love to pull out their smartphones and stuff. And so I'd be like, okay, smartphone moment. Okay, so Google who invented the stop sign, go, and yeah, so just, as a lesson of like, I mean, everything in this material world, I'm picking up, my teeny little tarot book, right? I'm picking up, my sparkling water, which I'm going to take a sip of. Mm. Mm. Oh my gosh. Oh, I tried a new flavor tonight. This is, and I mean, I'm all like natural foods, but, and then I'm like drinking sparkling water that's flavored, but, this is peach and honey flavored. It says, and I just, I don't trust the naturally flavored things, but I got it anyways. It tastes good. So that's like, I got totally sidetracked there, but because usually, like, I either get like I think it's the brand Spendthrift, because they actually use like lime juice, and it's not like natural flavoring, which I mean, Lord knows what that natural flavoring is. I will say that my father was a chemist, and so, he created like some of those natural flavorings probably that are still being used today. I don't know. I totally got on sidetrack. But guess what? This is my life, so I get to do what I want. Oh my god. Anyway, so drink some sparkling water. Mm. I'm not going to worry about the natural flavoring. Lord knows that goes into my discussion tonight of not worrying about anything really, because that definitely blocks the flow. But yeah, okay, so let me get back into it. You know what? I'm going to have to, let's get let's get grounded. I got to, I'm looking for, you know what? I think I left my copper bracelet upstairs. So I'm going to grab this one because copper is a wonderful conduit of energy. This is one that my mama gave me. It's got a little elephant on it. Elephants, ooh, have long been one of my spirit guides. Oh, I just feel the energy of this. Okay, so let's see, where was I? So getting into the present moment, right? The energy of abundance. Okay, so clearing out what does not serve. We have to get present. We have to get into the present. Energy in order to step into the energy of abundance. And in order to get into, for me, okay, for me, in order to get into presence, I have to get back into my body. I know I'm probably all over the place. I'm kind of refusing to like write out a script, just because I just did that so long when I was lecturing, and I just just kind of going like off the cuff and like whatever happens. So I guess you guys are either just gonna like follow me on my journey or not. And hopefully those of you that are supposed to get this, the messages will come and align, and it will all just be beautiful. Anyways, because I am totally all over the place. Thank you. Thank you, Great Spirit. Just felt that energy. Just, we're talking about. Can you guys hear the Tibetan bowls? Thank you, Great Spirit. Oh, yeah, that's good. So, in order to connect, we have to be present. And for me, being present means being conscious, being in my body. I spent many years of my life either running or numbing from any type of emotional feeling. And so I spent many years disassociated from myself physically. So it really has been, since working with a trauma incident reduction therapist and really beginning to learn about somatic healing, that I've learned how to get back into my body with and feeling safe during that process. And so one of and I talk a lot about different ways to ground, but one of the ways that I've really been getting into my body and grounding lately has been going out into the garden. I'm living on a medical marijuana farm right now up in Maine, helping them out. And so there's like a garden, vegetable garden outside, and a little herb garden. And I go out there a lot, and I've been weeding lately, and just, getting down into the dirt and weeding, and, being out in the sunlight. And, sometimes I'm listening to my music, sometimes I'm not. I also go talk to the chickens a lot. Well, now there's just one. Well, we have four little bitties and then one big hen. But being outside in the nature, in the garden, that kind of grounding energy gets me in my body. There's all kinds of different exercises that I could go into that can help us get grounded. But the first thing that we want to do to really tap into that energy of abundance is to ground in the body and be present, be in the now. And oh, I think what I was saying was, really wanting to come up with what a definition is of abundance, right? Because this term is kind of a catchphrase, all term. But for me, it is, for me, abundance is being 100% aligned with my highest self, with my highest ambitions, dreams, just being totally in flow. And having, and I want to say like having an abundance of experience, but that's like, but having options, having an unlimited amount of possibilities. That to me is abundance, is not being limited by any kind of, exterior stipulation. It is becoming aligned with our true self. And so abundance, how that transfers into this 3D reality, is, a lot of people associate it with money. I like to refer now to money as currency. I've been listening to the singer Tony Jones. As her, she is so freaking awesome. I mean, you guys gotta check her out. She's so awesome. But she has this one song called Currency, and she talks about how it's interesting that money is like all the words that money are associated with is about some type of flow or water or clean, right? So there's currency, right? Money flows, and so like this idea of abundance just being anything in this reality, like just having the freedom to do whatever it is, that you want to do when you want to do it, right? That what you're talking about. Hey, so yeah, so that's what abundance is to me. Because I am a human, I'm a part of this system. I have to have money right now. I do hope for a, society where, the value of someone's character is not based on, their socioeconomic status. But until then, and I mean it, right now we use the greenbacks, we use them, and so we have to find a way to find relationship with currency, right, that serves us. So often in this society, we have been, and especially, well, I won't say especially, I'll just say, there's been a lot of conditioning out there, um to really, I think it's been to try to keep us away from our natural flow, right? Our natural currency, that natural energy of abundance, right? Because that is like our natural birthright, is to be abundant, to be like whoever it is we want to be, because we're the creators. We came here to create, going back to the students, and telling them to, you know, look up the stop sign. Everything in this world, everything in this world started as a thought. Everything. I mean, everything. And when you can wrap your head around that, then you can begin to think, okay, so if things are, starting out as a thought, so basically if you can think it, you can believe it. So the thought, that is an energy, right? And so you get into your present state, your present now, energy moment, right? And then the thoughts, the intuition is going to inevitably start to flow. Now, the key is, and this is always the biggest thing, is you gotta listen, you gotta listen, you gotta get tapped in, and you gotta listen and not argue for your own limitations, right? So let's say that you're in, you just came out of meditation, you're feeling, oh man, you're like so in your zone, you're like just on the top of the world, and a thought comes in and it says, go into the store and, you need to buy a 6 pack of Sprite or something. And you think to yourself, why do I need to go to the store? I'm not going to the store to get Sprite. right? Okay, now that in itself, because for me with my intuition, the first thought that comes in is is always right. It really is. It's always right. With, if you're in alignment and you're in tune with your flow, then that first thought is that's where I go. That's what I go with. And so a lot of times we end up second guessing ourselves, and so a thought can flow in when we're in this state of alignment, but then, that next thought can be, if, you know if we stay in alignment, then it can be okay. Yeah, I'm hopping in my car and I'm gonna go drive to get this freaking 6 pack of Sprite, even though I don't drink Sprite, but whatever, um, or you can second guess yourself and be like, what the fuck, I'm not doing that, and just keep on. And a lot of times, and I'll say 9 times out of 10, that's what people do. People don't trust their intuition, and so that is, really what one of the goals of this live is to help people get in alignment with their own intuition, and help and to just remind people that, because we all have it already within us. Like, we have all the tools, we have everything that we need. It's just a matter of lining up with the energy. And so a couple things have helped me to understand really even what I'm talking about, lining up with energy. One is that we are, we're made out of matter, right? Our bodies are organic matter. And so this means that we are made out of protons, neutrons, atoms, all that, right? And so that means that matter is always moving, because atoms, protons, and neutrons, all that stuff, everything's moving, right? And so that means that what we think is solid right now is actually in a wave state. Everything is just kind of flowing anyways. Okay, now this is like some kind of crazy shit. I am not like anywhere near being a scientist into, or a physicist, or anything like that. This is just my very beginning understanding of some pretty huge concepts, going into like quantum physics and string theory and stuff like that. But and so if we're thinking that we're all wave particles, right? So we're all just these moving kind of energetic particles, right? Things become solid when we observe them. There's a term for it. It's like called like observational theory or something. I think it's part of string theory, but it's kind of like the pendulum idea, in that like like everything is moving, right? Everything is moving, and it doesn't appear solid until we observe it. And so, for instance, I don't know if any of you guys have seen, but I just saw it like last week. This movie, it's like Ant-Man or something. I can't. I think it was like the second or third one. But if you've seen Ant-Man, maybe you can tell me. But I think it was the second or third. Anyways, there's a scene in it when he's in like the chamber of possibilities, and his body like just splits until like he's just like an infinite number of himself, right? And so that is a wonderful visual way of describing this idea of the string theory, that or like it's kind of the idea of the metaverse, that there's like I mean, an infinite amount of me. There's an infinite amount of you. There's an infinite amount of like every action that we take. There's like whatever the opposite, or whatever, not even the opposite, but every action that could have probably have been, was. And that is like way crazy. And how does this have anything to do with the energy of abundance? I'm getting there, I promise. But Okay, so if we are matter, if we are constantly in movement, if matter, the solid state of it, is only perceived as matter when we observe it, then that means that everything else outside of that one observable state is infinite possibility. And so when you say, I won the lottery, you have. You've won the lottery because you said it and it is. And so there is a state of being where you have won the lottery. So our job is to energetically line up with that state, with that possibility. It's kind of a lot to, like, really kind of, I don't know, break apart in in one live, and I want us to do my collective tarot reading as well. But so basically how this can help is if you know that we are an infinite number of possibilities, and that we become solid based on what we are observing, then that can be an explanation for the idea of what your vibe attracts your tribe kind of idea, right? So that explains that idea of what you focus on, you create, right? Because you really are, like, it's almost like a zooming in, right? And so all of the other possibilities that could be, it's not that they go away and they cease to exist, but they're just like out in the ethers, if you will, and you're focusing on this one reality. And so to get to the state of abundance, right, that energetic state, it basically, now this is for me, and again, it's we're all on a very personal journey, and so what works for one person may not necessarily work for someone else, okay? And so this is my experience with really stepping into this state. And for me, not only do I have to be in the present, and so, and I've talked to you guys about how to get there, get into the body, be here now, right? And so then you have to get happy. You got to get into your flow. And so how do you get into your, it's so funny because, I listen to Abraham Hicks a lot, and she's always like, or Esther Hicks always says, it's such a horrible price to pay. Like the price that you have to be happy to get into your flow, but you got to be happy. And so what's the best way for you to get happy? That's what you got to do. For me, like I said, gardening right now lately has been a big thing for me, just like the weeding, going out and weeding. Another way that I get into my flow, and I mean pretty like quickly, I can get into my flow and get happy by putting on some good music, getting in my flow. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, man, just like whatever kind of energy is gonna, any type of creative energy. So the energy of painting, of writing, if you want to journal, you can, whatever is gonna get you into that place of happiness. And so get present, get happy, and then listen, okay? Just listen to what your body is, your mind, body, spirit, like what comes in, and then don't doubt. You have to be 100% open, 100% open. Okay. And so before I move on to the collective reading, I'm going to give you guys my experience this weekend with stepping into this flow state of abundance. And this is the first time. Now, I am someone who has I have had to navigate a lot of lack in my life. I have I spent I've spent time homeless. I have spent time I mean really pretty much living off of nothing, I've also gone through great, periods of time where I have had a lot of money. I've lived in penthouses. I've lived in, and then I've also, like I said, experienced times of homelessness. So I have pretty much run the gamut of the energies of, lack and scarcity. Throughout my life, really. And so, and a lot of that has been attached through social conditioning. So when I was younger, I know like the energy of like, like I was all into the punk rock scene. So our whole thing was like, like eat the rich, like, fuck the rich. I mean, it was just a real like and like anti-rich, like they were all the ones that, were evil or whatever. And really, how I got through that limiting belief was that everything in this world has a neutral vibration. It's what we give it, and so money isn't evil, money isn't good, it just is. It's what we do with it. And so that's like one limiting belief. There's, others. Another one, I'm also someone that has, I have walked through some pretty intense periods of addiction in my life. I know that there was a period in my life that I had a belief that, oh, if I made too much money, I would just kill myself. Cause I mean, when I used to, I was partying out, I'm like fucking Rick James style, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh my God, I could never get rich because if I got rich, I would fucking OD myself, right? And so that's another limiting belief that I had to. And so through this process of like kind of shedding what no longer serves me, I've had to get rid of these beliefs around money that really are either, conditional or just like, negative self-talk around it or whatever, whatever kind of conditioning around it. So I had to get rid of all of that. And I've been working on this process for, I'd say very consciously, for about 3 years now. And and so this weekend I was out in my garden, and I was listening. I was actually listening to Abraham Hicks, and she has this wonderful story about a ring that one of her clients ended up finding in the bushes. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that story, but I've heard it like a lot. So I listen to Esther Hicks like all the time. So, anyways, I was listening um, to that story about the ring, and I was gardening, and she says, and she in the video, she's like, and then the lady looked in the grass, and this is as I'm like, pulling out weeds in the grass, and saw the ring. And right when she said the ring, a thought popped into my head. Huh. And I remember that like a while back, like a friend of mine had given me this ring, and and it just like that idea of the ring just came into my head. So I later on I just decided to go and look and find the ring. I found the ring. I started looking at the ring, and then I looked on the inside, and there was a stamp on the inside of the ring. And so I thought, huh, that's interesting. I hadn't seen that before. And so I got my glasses. I went and looked it up. It said 925. I didn't know what that meant, and I didn't know what 925 meant. And so I looked that up. Now it said that it was a high quality silver 925, and I was like, huh. Now at this point, okay, a lot of people's doubt would have come in like, oh, whatever, I mean, whatever, it's just a silver ring, it's not that, and my doubt almost came in, but for some reason there was just something in my being that said, you need to go and get this ring appraised. And so I followed my intuition. Hold on one second. I followed my intuition. I went to a place where I thought there was a jeweler. There was no jeweler. And so there was just no shop there at all. And so I went into a pharmacy. I start talking with these people, and I'm looking at my map, and I'm like, well, it says that this jewelry store is in this church. And I look at the church, and it's the Episcopalian church. And so I say to them, oh, that's weird. It's an Episcopalian church. And then I said, well, I was baptized Episcopalian. My grandfather baptized me. And then I look back down at the church. Now, this is, I shit you not, the truth. I look back down at the church. This is on my GPS map. And what is the name of the church? But St. John. And St. John was my grandfather's name. And so at that moment, I was like, oh my God, like the energy. I mean, I just knew, because it was just so weird. I just got in my car and just started, going. I just went. And so after that, I ended up going to another jeweler a whole different town away, and found out. Oh, and the name of the jewelry shop that I ended up going to was Pyramid, which I thought was also kind of oddly symbolic. And so I took the ring in. Just the metal alone is worth close to $1,000. Just the metal alone. And that was my first time totally like stepping and consciously knowing that I had stepped in to that energy of abundance. What it was it was my intuition, and I didn't question it. It came, and I just stayed curious. I kept out worry, I kept out doubt, I kept out fear, I kept out any naysayer energy, right? Any kind of low vibe energy like that is going to take you out of that vibe of flow, right? So you just got to you just got to believe it. And so that's what I did. And I drove all the way there, and, found out that, so I had my own Abraham Hicks, abundance story with the ring, which I thought was so beautiful. And so, what that really just showed me was, you get the impulse. Go with the impulse. Go with the impulse. If you are in flow, you are happy, you're in your state. And it doesn't mean you have to be like jumping off, the freaking rafters, but just in a state like right after meditation, or, like I told you, I like to dance or garden or whatever it is. But when you're in that state of flow, because that is where you're connecting to God, to, great spirit, to God, to source, that is the energy of connecting. And so that is when you get, your clues, the intuition comes in. And so then it is up to you to trust the process. You gotta trust the process, just like I did. And, I did not sell the ring. But what a beautiful, beautiful journey of synchronicity that, brought me to a jewelry shop in a town that I'm thinking about settling down. And, I ended up talking with the jeweler for a long time, and it just ended up being a beautiful, beautiful day. And that, my friends, is the energy of abundance. So yeah, so now we're going to shift into the collective reading, and I'm just going to use this. Just to clear the energy. Thank you, Great Spirit. Thank you for allowing me to be a conduit, to be of service. Thank you. So, you guys know that I always do a 3-card spread for these collective readings. This is not an individual reading, this is a collective reading. So this means that I am tapping into the energy, kind of a Facebook land of, people that, anyone really that, runs across this video and sees this, and listens to this message. This message is for you. When you come across it, the timing will be right, and this is for you. So I'm aligning my energy. The first card is going to be the energy that we're moving out of now. The second card is going to be the energy that we are currently in. Ooh, I got stuff coming out. And the third card is going to be the energy that we are going to be moving in. Wow, I feel it all through my body tonight. That's pretty intense, guys. Let's see. Ooh, wow. Okay. So let's see. So this is what is going on. So the first card for tonight is the Justice card. So the Justice card is all about understanding cause and effect, and that your choices have consequences. Okay? So you are someone that is seeking to equalize and balance, to find what is fairest for everyone involved. So this is the energy that we're kind of moving out of right now. Okay? This next energy, this next card, this is interesting. We have the 6 of Cups. So this is kind of a reminiscing kind of card, huh? 6 of Cups. Okay. Wow, guys, I'm just feeling the energy. So you are filled with happy memories from the past, like reuniting with childhood friends or high school crushes. So this is like really like kind of looking back. This is some energy of looking back and reuniting with maybe, some childhood friends or something. You feel carefree and imaginative right now, okay? You bring harmony and cooperation into your current relationships, okay? And so that is the 6 of Cups. So this is the energy that we are currently embodying right now. This is like, I'm not getting like the clearest read on, especially with this first card, this Justice card. Let me see. I might have to get a little bit more clarity with these cards tonight. So let's look at what the last card is. We have the 5 of Wands. And so this is energy that, and this makes sense because I do know that this Friday, I know that we have, the, what is it, the full moon eclipse. Some crazy energy is going on. And so this is the 5 of Wands. So this is all about conflict, disagreement. There's some type of competition going on, infighting. It looks like there's a lot of people trying to voice their opinions about something, but it's like no one is really listening. Okay. And so this card's the advice here is to listen carefully to everyone involved. Okay. And if you can't kind of come to some amicable, solution, then it is going to be time for you to remove yourself from this situation. And this is interesting. I'd like a little bit more clarity tonight. Um, Please let me know just a little bit more about this Justice card and a little bit more about this Five of Wands. Okay, what type of competition, infighting? What is going on? Please, I just need a little bit more clarity. Thank you very much. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Huh. Okay, we have so a little bit more clarity for the Five of Wands is the eight, and so there's a lot of infighting going on, and then we have the Eight of Pentacles, and so it seems like this is this could be job related here. Okay, this Five of Wands, like this kind of feeling like in competition, and so the clarification, this is the Eight of Pentacles, so you leverage your determination and attention to detail to get the job done. As you do the same task over and over, you work your way towards mastery of that craft. And so this is really, it seems again like this is something to do with work. That is what I am feeling. I do have one more card here to find a little bit more clarity about this first card, the Justice, and we have the Four of Swords. And so, there's some conflict, some stuff going on, okay? And so for the clarity by the Four of Swords, you have reached your first milestone, and now you need to recharge your energy before the next phase begins. Take a break, clear your mind, and meditate. Okay, guys. And so, it looks like right now, with work, there might be some conflict going on, or like gearing up to that occurring. Just know that you have worked very hard to get, to where you are. And just remember that this Six of Cups, this is where our energy is currently. And this is all about harmony and cooperation. And so my advice is, as we move forward, there's going to be a lot of intense energy with this eclipse, and so this, I think, is when this is where this kind of conflict energy is going to come up. And so just remember that you have put in your dues, and so this might be a good week to, really relax, self-care, get into your own flow, however it is you do. And guys, I am going to go ahead and sign off tonight. I so hope that the message resonated for y'all. Again, my name is Elizabeth Maria, and this is Intuitive Tuesdays with Elizabeth Maria. If you guys want to support my content, you can do a one-time donation through PayPal. There's information in the description. You can also become a Patreon member. I offer all kinds of just discounts, fun games, just different ways to interact, and learn about, how to harness your intuition, how to step into being the best version of you. So, check out my content, support my content, and, stay beautiful, stay unlimited. And yeah, that's it for tonight, guys. Love you. Love and light.